Hello, this is Ken Miller, president of StateWay Logistics, and bringing you a new episode of the Hall of Fame by One Truck America. This episode is going to cover tires, and it's a very great episode. We're going to talk to Tom Clauer from Yokohama Tires. He's going to cover various things on what should fleet managers look for. Is an OTR tire better than a regional tire, than a local tire? Do we need a different tire for each of those applications? He's going to talk about some new technology coming forward. And also, we're going to talk about fleets and who they should take advice from when designing their tire buy purchasing program. I think all this is going to be exciting. We end up going off on a lot of areas. We're going to talk about cab over trucks, the ride on cab over trucks. We're going to talk about the switch from a cab over truck to a conventional, and various other stories. We both have 25 to 30 years in the industry. I think you're going to find this extremely exciting. So, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Hello, this is Ken Miller from Hall of Fame Podcast. I'm extremely excited today to bring on Tom Clauer from Yokohama Tires. I think it's going to be a great episode. We're going to cover several things, but before we start, Tom, we'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience. So, the floor is all yours, buddy.
Thank you very much, Ken. Well, my name's Tom Clauer. I'm the senior manager for Yokohama's commercial product planning division. Been in the industry, my goodness, for 38 years, actually, a little long in the tooth, but I'm still hanging around.
Love it. I love it. Hey, they're not going to kick all the old timers out at once, buddy. We're going to hang on. I've been in this thing now. I'm thinking about 25 years of trucking, and we're not going anywhere. We're sticking around.
Yeah. No, I've been with Yokohama now for 27 years. It's been my home for a long time.
It's good. That's great. Well, good. Listen, I mean, I think, as I was talking in an earlier podcast, I think people miss the importance of tires. And I tell people it's no different. I was in the military, the importance of your boots, okay? I mean, I think it's just, and there's so much that's tied to it along with fuel performance, ride comfort, freight not shifted. A lot of things that tie to that. And I think we want to cover some of that and cover some of your products. So, you tell us. You tell me what is new with your tire. You have a new tire coming on the market, a 907W. Let's talk about that. So you tell me what's new, what you see in trucking for tires, and how you're improving the product. Anyway, free for all, any way you want.
Sure, no problem. Well, kind of like what you alluded to earlier, tires have been an important part of our lives forever, it seems like, and commercial trucking, it's an expense. It's something that I deem as important as any other component in the tire or in the truck or in your fleet, however you want to look at it. But, tires are something, they change with the equipment. They change with the needs of the industry. And the industry has moved so fast in the last couple of years. We've seen, from Class 8s being the major operation to now we're starting to see more Class 7s getting involved and are starting to get anything from 4, 5, and 6 involved with last mile deliveries. So, we've seen this industry completely change. We used to have fight for mileage. That's all we wanted was mileage in tires. Now we're looking at fuel efficiency. I've got fleets on both ends of the spectrum, so you're kind of in a no-win situation when you look at some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been very very interesting. And I know, fleet managers, they always ask, what should we be looking at?
Yeah.
What should I be looking at for tires? And along with fuel, fleet tires are a very important part and a big expense for fleets, both major, but they also need to be maintained. and they need to be maintained correctly. You stated earlier when we were talking, air pressure. That's the first thing that comes out of any engineer's mouth when somebody has a problem with tires. Your air pressure is wrong. Well, 9 times out of 10, that's not far from the truth. It usually is a culprit in it. And the drivers want to have want to have that comfortable ride. They don't want that banging in that front axle. Hell, I drove truck for several years. I used to haul swing and meat, and I had an old cab over Freightliner. So I mean, you go down the road, it's like bouncing a basketball down some of these cement roads. So obviously, one of the big things is drop the air pressure in front of it. It'll absorb the ride a little bit.
Absorb it,
yeah. Well, it did that, but it was terrible on tires. So I say to fleet managers, one, make sure you got a maintenance routine set up and everybody's abiding by it. You can't just depend upon the drivers to do this. You've got to have a team to back up that maintenance schedule. Make sure tires are definitely a part of that inspection every single morning. And the other thing for fleet managers, and this comes to selecting the right products, is you got to know your equipment, know your operational areas that you're working in. What kind of geographical area are you working in, and then you need to get a product that is complementary to that operation. I always tell everybody it's no different than speccing out the right engine, the right turbo, the right transmission, the right final drive gears. It all plays into it. You got to have the right tire to get all that performance onto the ground. So that's a big important factor.
Hold on one second. Before you go any further, I want to clear some people. It's funny, you're going to know this and most people don't. The industry used to be all cab over drivers, all cab over trucks for a very long time, for a lot of reasons, a lot of safety reasons, see where you are and so forth, but they don't ride very well. And I remember, I think I was in 1999. I got out of the military, started, worked for a truck company, and they were in the process of phasing them out because drivers did not want to drive cab over. So that's our audience to understand. It's a truck without a nose, okay, but you ride on top of the wheel. And I'm here to tell you, it was a bumpy ride. So for a newer, younger audience who doesn't understand, I just want to clear that up for you. But keep going, buddy. You said cab over, everyone was like, oh. No, I went to a truck driver today. He was 28. He didn't know what a cab over was. So I'm just trying to tell you, it's not like you think everyone knows anymore.
I think the last cab over I drove was oh my goodness, I'm going way back now. I believe that it was a cab over Peterbilt. I think they were brand new. Yeah. I think it was the last time that they ran them. But yeah, I mean, my brother runs a 379 Peterbilt. He ran that for many years. And that was like riding in a luxury car.
Like a cat. It's the Cadillac. It's the Cadillac, man. It's the Cadillac of trucking. No, I remember even after I decided to get rid of cab overs, we bought one more. I think it was called the Freeline with Argosy or something of that nature. And it didn't ride bad. It still did not compare. I mean, it's like anything else. I was watching F1 this weekend, and last year, Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton was complaining because they put his seat forward over close to the front tire, and the ride was he has purposing where he's bouncing constantly. And I said, if you want to know what's wrong with a cab over, here you go. That is the exact reason. Sitting on the tires, you're going to purpose and bounce and bounce and bounce. So great analogy, a little history lessons. Probably dating ourselves, but I'll let you get back to it.
Well, what I find interesting is we take a look at where we're at right now, and you start seeing some of these HEVs and BEVs, we'll talk about a little bit later, and most of them are what? They're cab overs.
Cab overs, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very few are. We got some regional ones that are long nosed, but other than that, they're all cab overs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe the technologies, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know they still have cab overs in Europe quite a bit. I lived in Germany. I was in the military for about 3 years. And maybe they still have them there. Maybe they've fixed it. I'm not a mechanical engineer. I can't tell you how to sit and ride. And maybe they've ridden differently. Like I said, the last one we had was the Argosy, and I want to say we got rid of it in 2005. Is when we got rid of all the old ones before 2000, but then we bought this one, and I forgot why. It was a specialized account. We had about 50 of them, and they weren't bad. I mean, I rode in it because I knew how to drive a truck, didn't have a CDL, but it wasn't as bad as the Camel, but it still wasn't as great as a long nose truck. So yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm dating myself because when I tell people, back when I drove, the Freightliner I had, it had a stack of about 10 springs on it, no shock absorbers, and it didn't have brakes in the front axle. So that and the steering wheel is about the size of most passenger car tires as far as diameter is concerned. So I had the Armstrong power steering and the 280 air conditioning. In other words, I had to roll both windows down and go 80 miles an hour to be able to keep you cool.
Keep it cool. You want to be cool, you better step on the gas. Yeah. I remember truckers came a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we in the tire industry, we have to recognize that. We have to keep an eye on it, and we have to kind of follow along with it and help, with new innovative products, compound designs, and such as that, so we can keep up with the industry and supply them with products that are going to perform as they want their trucks to perform, giving the fleets the best value that we possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell these guys, I said, look, fleets, talk to your manufacturer rep. I mean, they're the experts on the tires. They can give you the best help that you can possibly get as far as, what our tire will do. How can we compare it for the truck that you are using, the operation that you are functioning in? I've got a lot of people that say, hey, we want this tire here because it's a long haul or it's a long mileage tire. But in your operation, is it correct? Is it going to be long haul there? We found out many, many, many times, if you put the wrong tire in the wrong or in the right application, the wrong tire in the right application, you're going to have a problem. You got to get them to meld together.
Well, it's hard, I tell you, from the trucking side, is you got to make some tough choices. Let's just, a couple of things people should know is your average trucking company is about 8 trucks. I know they're big companies and they're small. So let's just go to the 100. The 100 truck guy said, man, I got some people that run from Pennsylvania out to Nebraska. It's about 80% of my fleet. But the rest of my fleet stays in Pennsylvania. So I have two you have a guy running the highway all the time, and I have a guy that's running local, and it's 2 different applications. And, but they want the most inventory matters, So if I'm going to replace a tire, do I want to keep 2 different tires or do I want to keep 1 tire? So there's a lot of complexity. So how would you tell someone in that market, what do I do? Do I run 1 tire and realize I'm going to get more out of the OTR, but that's the bulk of my business and I'm going to eat it on the 20%? Or do I expect 2 different tires from you? What would you tell me? Would I expect 2 different tires?
Well, from my standpoint, yes, I would.
I would know, and I think people should, but I don't think people do that, which is why I wanted to answer that question.
No, you are absolutely correct. And more so what we're seeing now is fleets that have internally a regional and a super regional type operation.
Yes.
That is what I'm seeing more than, the long haul and a regional, but it's more of the regional and super regional.
Yeah.
And to be able to work that, okay, we got to have a product that has got, some severe cut and chip resistance for the regional type operation. But we also need to have a product that's going to be able to go out and run on the road, for a, reasonable distance. Okay. Not a long haul, but enough. Where we find one will not necessarily equal the other as far as performance is concerned. And that's one of the challenges that we face. It used to be pretty simple. You had long haul, then you had regional, then you had urban P&D. Okay. That was pretty simple and easy. But now with that combination of the regional, super regional stuff, now it takes a little bit more. And on that side, we are in current development and testing on a product that's going to be able to fit both of those categories. It's got to perform equally well in both of those categories.
Yeah. Well, that's good. No, that's good to hear. And I think I've talked to a lot of truck companies. I deal with tons of them in my logistics company. We own some ourselves. And I tell people, you should spec in the scenarios I'm talking about. You should ask your rep, like you said, listen, no, I said, we are trucking experts. We're not tire experts. So go to the tire expert and ask him, or her, and then spec 2 different tires for this scenario. Now, you get to a point where you give me a tire that performs great in both. Hey, win-win. We'll take it out and run all day. Because I think those things are very important. And I don't think people put enough thought into tires. And I give you another one. We will go back to tire pressure. We used to do these campaigns, and it wasn't like once a month, but it was random. And we literally would just sit out the gate, and as you come back, we start checking your air pressure. And if all 18 in the trail was right, we gave you a gift card. If it wasn't, we just documented it. And because I've been telling you the destruction of tires from drivers, especially drivers, company drivers. So they don't own the truck. It's on my truck. I'm giving them the truck to drive. Is a big problem. Okay. If it's an owner operator, he's checking that tire every day. It's like an owner of a house versus a renter. He's every day, what's the tire? But someone that jumps in a truck, I'm telling you, it's very different. And you have to kind of manage them to take care of that tire and to air pressure that tire, things of that nature. So,
yeah, you're absolutely correct with that. And, that's something that we have fought forever, it seems like. And, and I say, having the right tire is 50% of the equation. Maintaining that tire is another 50%.
yeah.
And, and everybody always says, well, the driver's got to maintain it. And that's, they should.
You should?
But let's step into reality here.
Yes.
That guy just wants to do his pre-check and get the heck out of here and get going, or he gets back, he wants to drop the truck and get his paperwork done and gone. But the maintenance has to be there. The follow-up has to be there on that. And to have that equipment run, that is a very vital part of the operation there. And I cannot stress enough of, maintaining those tires, checking the air pressure, making sure the air pressure is correct, knowing when to check the air pressure, and and giving it a visual inspection. It doesn't take a heck of a lot. Just look at the dang tire.
Look at it.
If you see something in there that's shiny, it's not supposed to be there.
I would go out and I tell them, I said, listen, you don't have an air gauge. I want you to walk around and hit it with a hammer. Okay? Give me that. Okay? Make sure it's not totally flat. Give me that. Just give me that. All right? That's it. Because that one flat tire on that 210 is destroying everything. It's destroying the other one.
Absolutely.
It's made to ride a certain way. Just give it a hammer. You give it a hammer, okay, it's not flat. But I've seen people ride around with flats and it just destroys the other one. Then it destroys one on the other side and it's over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I actually had a fleet manager one time. I went and sat down with him and was visiting with him and that. And I happened to notice that he happened to have one of those tire billies sitting on his desk. And I looked at him and I says, you guys really don't use these, do you? He said, oh, yeah. He said, I use it. I said, I use it all the time. He said, if I see somebody trying to thump a tire with one of these here, I take and beat them over the head with it. And I thought to myself, that is the absolute perfect use for one of them.
I love it. I love it. So, well, let's, I want to sort of just wrap it up to tell me, what is there anything you want me to know about your company? Anything you guys have come in? Just let's make sure we give you guys the recognition you guys deserve. So tell me anything you guys got coming you want me to know, anything of that nature.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. One of the things that we are starting to do is, we are starting to tailor our product lineup to fit the specific needs of certain segments. Okay. And one of those happens to be like right now with the 114R, which is our regional trailer tire.
Okay.
And then somebody asked me, what's a regional trailer tire? A trailer tire is a trailer tire is a trailer tire. It's a commodity product. We don't put a lot of effort into it. They wear out. We retread them, yada, yada. Yeah. We want to give the customer a tire that is going to be able to perform, not just in the, not in the long haul range. We've already got our Blue Earth 109 over there for that. But we wanted to take a look at, seeing what we need for a region. Now we started that with the 114R ultra wide base. That's our ultra wide base product line, which we are very proud of, our ultra wide base line. And we found out that became very quickly one of our best selling tires. Well, why was it? The tire has a cut and chip resistant compound. It's got a little bit more tread depth on it, but the tread was designed specifically for certain forces. Now, one of those happens to be, and now we just brought it out in all of our standard sizes, including 255s, 275s, and such. But we recognize that these tires, especially with the spread axles, they wear tires terribly, and most of the time, people will go ahead and put an all-position tire on there, a regional all-position tire. Well, it's not designed for that. It works okay. The long-haul trailer tire is not designed for that. It really doesn't work okay. So we took this here product and we designed the tread to handle those forces, that sliding forces back and forth, and to eliminate a lot of those irregular wear. We get that diagonal wipeout on those as well. Also, the tire had to be durable. In other words, it had to deal with curbs, it had to deal with railroad tracks and every darn thing else you can imagine in the urban type delivery systems and that. So we created the 114R, which is designed very, very specific for that type of an operation. So in the trailer tires, both ultra wide base and standard, we've got both a Blue Earth 109 that is for the long haul, very fuel efficient tire. Then we have the 114R, which is more for the spread axle. It can be long haul spread axle, but for spread axle and regional urban deliveries, it gives you it hits all the targets that we need for there. Is it fuel efficient? It is still fuel efficient.
Yes.
But cut and chip resistant compound, a little bit deeper tread that is designed specifically to handle all of those forces that you have with that type of an operation.
Okay. Well, good. Well, hey, listen, I want to first of all thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for being part of the Hall of Fame podcast. We're looking forward to having you back as you continue to grow the technology, like you said, is changing our industry just rapidly. So as those things happen, let's get you back on. Let's talk about them. Again, thank you for coming on Yokohama Tires. Great job. And you have anything to close, sir?
Nope, just that, thank you guys for the opportunity. And, out there, I just tell anybody listening to the podcast, air pressure, air pressure, air pressure.
Let's end it on that. Thank you for being in the Hall of Fame. Have a great day, sir.
Take care. Thanks.
This is Ken Miller, and you just saw Tom Clauer from Yokohama Tires. Great company, exciting. I love the conversation with him. We got to have him back soon. What do you guys say? I think this guy was amazing. I loved how he presented his product and to show you the difference in his products. And I think we'll definitely have him back. Great conversation. I'm very excited about this episode, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Have a great day from Hall of Fame Podcast.